Hello, it's Jesse here. We're back at the working on the 74 Norton. We're getting ready to put the head on and stuff and finish this thing up. And starting off here, we're going to install the Boyer ignition back into the bike. And right now we just got it laying here. So we're going to talk about this a little bit. So first off, we install that the pickup. No, that's not the pickup. That's the
Well, basically, it's the stator.
So this thing rotates, and it actually
It's magnets.
These magnets on these points on here come in contact with that, and that's what tells it what to do.
Okay, now we're up at top dead. So this fires both cylinders at the same time, so all we got to do is back it up till a line lines up at 31 degrees, because that's what Boyer's supposed to be. And then I just line this up with this hole for anti-clockwise. That's for Norton's. The clockwise hole over here, like you remember when we did the 71 Tiger, that's the Triumph hole, and this is the Norton BSA hole. So
right, so I'm gonna go over the other side, and then we'll look at in the window there for that.
I'm gonna back up the motor
gauge. Here's the gauge, and he's rotating it. There's a line. We want it to be at 30, right?
Yep, 30, 31.
A little bit more. A little more, like 1 or 2 lines. A little bit, just right there, right there.
Right there?
Yes.
Okay.
That's right on the line. So that's where we start out at. So right now we're statically timing this right now to this. And
it
not flush anymore.
No, it's 38 degrees before top dead center. There is a specific measurement for that. I don't know what it is. I don't remember what it is right now. Lots in the old days, they used to take heads off and measure it and set timing like that when they didn't have the window over there, and because they had magnetos, and they would measure from the top of the head to the top of the piston at a certain time, and then they would time the magneto that used to go in the timing case of the early Nortons and early Triumphs. Anyway, that's
all right,
a different story.
So we got it all set up. We're gonna move on to finishing putting the Boyer.
Over here, the Boyer talks about lining up these 2 magnets with the white holes in line with the Norton name when you get that right. And that's right about what I got it right now.
Okay, I'm gonna come over there and look at that.
That up.
Okay, so lining it up with the name.
Yeah, that's pretty close. Might need to go a little bit down. Did you say that's pretty close?
Yeah, that's pretty close.
Now we'll just put this in here, and what we want it to do is we want this hole to be pretty darn close. You see a white dot somewhere in there? Right about now is where we want it to be.
Up a little bit.
More?
I'm not seeing it yet.
It's right there.
Oh wait, there it is. I am sorry about that. It looks like you gotta go down a little bit.
Okay, so I gotta move it just a little bit then.
Yeah.
Oh! I didn't want it to do that. Right about there is where we want to be.
It's down.
It's down?
Yeah.
So we got to raise it.
Yeah.
Where are we at now?
You're off a little bit yet.
Which way?
You gotta rotate it this way.
This way?
Yeah, like to the left. A little more. Yeah, it's not going anymore.
So I gotta turn it down a little.
No, you gotta move the This has got to go up. Here, look out. Move that out of the way.
Well, you kept saying down.
Well, I was meaning the other piece.
You got to be more specific. I'm in the middle. I want the hole in the middle. You got your head there, not me.
Yeah.
There's the middle. I want to be close.
It's right in the middle. Right there. That is dead dead center in the middle.
Okay, so we got to come up just a little bit there. Because if you remember in the beginning, this hole was at the top side of the hole.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Are we in the top side of the hole?
No, it's more like right in the middle yet. Yeah, it's more to the top now. Yep.
Okay.
Right there.
Yep.
All right, so we got the timing all set up. We got the cover on, and we finally got our head bolts we were waiting on for a while there in. We're going to talk about them. They're kind of special, and we'll work on putting the head on. So let's go talk about the hardware. All right, so this is a special ordered head bolt set from Colorado Norton Works, or
Jim Comstock.
yeah, Jim Comstock. So anyways, they're kind of special. We're going to go over why they're special and why we're going to go with these head bolts.
Jim Comstock takes these head bolts from ARP, and well, he sends you these real nice stainless washers too. And these are stainless, by the way. And he necks these down, and he calls it wasted. They're being wasted so that they stretch a specific amount. Your stock head bolt is all one size. So what he's figured out and how he's engineered this is so that as your head heats up here, it stretches. Well, it gets taller, because when metal heats up, it stretches, and so then things get tighter, and then it pulls on the threads. So what he's done here is he's figured out the amount to neck down so that when this head heats up, this bolt heats up at the same rate. And so it always keeps the head gasket at perfect tension. It's truly awesome. I've had a set of these in my Mark III since 2016, and I have not had a single issue with it. And they torque up. I've only had to torque it twice, and after that it never took no more torque. They just stay in tight and just work. So we decided that since we got this bike apart, we're going to spend the extra money and buy the kit and put it in here too. And so there's two bolts here that also gets changed, and these are wasted also. And these two bolts go right up here in the cylinder, and these two come out, and these other two go in, so that all the head bolts stretch, and they're all wasted, and they all work together. And then we're going to put a flame ring gasket, and we're just not going to deal with copper ever again.
And then anyway, we get all new ones of the long ones, and then we got the two ones that go in the cylinder.
And we got the one front one.
Yeah,
Remember, there's two little ones in the cylinder.
Oh, that's right, yeah.
And then the one in the center of the head, and that's the shorter one.
And then these are of course, the long ones.
Right.
Okay. Yeah, that came with the set. So that's a pretty nice set.
So that's what we're going to do.
Well, we're going to first off remove these studs from the cylinder, hopefully. It looks like they're coming out easily. so far.
Here's the dust bunny there. There it is.
There we go. There we go. It's coming right out. Sweet. Alright, then we'll get ready to put the other ones in.
Gotta clean the threads and Loctite them.
Right.
Now, the other thing you gotta watch out for in all these Nortons is that some of these threads, when these cylinders were made, when they pre-drilled these holes, sometimes they broke into the hole. So we need to look down there and see if it did it, because that's part of the reason for Loctiting this too, is that to seal it. Because lots of times the reason that it looks like your head gasket is leaking, but sometimes oil pools up in here and it will actually come out of these threads and leak out in the front. And so lots of times this is a source of oil leaking.
Alright, so we're going to check that out real. Look down inside there. I don't think we can see anything really from here, but yeah, I don't know. We'll check it out. I don't think we do.
I don't think they do either. I think we checked that once before. But we'll look again. We're going to make sure.
Yeah, I don't feel nothing there. Yeah.
And that one don't. So we got 2 blind holes on this bike, which is a good thing.
So he's running light in there and he's checking inside the threaded area there.
Right? Well, you look down the wall of this hole right here. And you look down about, about where the bottom of that is. This tapers. See this hole, when they drilled this hole here, it drills at an angle. And if they drilled this hole too deep, it breaks through. And all it takes is a crack, and oil will start leaking up through there.
I don't know. It kind of looks like a spot there, but I don't know. It looks like a spot right there. See that little dark spot in the far end of that? See that, what I'm talking about?
No, I don't see it. I don't see it over here.
Alright, let's look.
Oh, wait a minute. I think it does leak through. Here is a crack right here. There it is. Yep, by golly. I stand corrected.
I think that's a hole right there.
Yes, it is. Right?
So, the cure to this would be the Loctite, right?
Yeah. We're going to Loctite it.
That would,
Right
like,
here. Right here it is.
Yep, there it is. There's the hole. I thought I saw it in the
You
video.
see
here.
my wire?
Yeah, I sure can. So
Yeah.
we
How
can
about
see
the
it.
other side? Is there actually a hidden one there too?
I can.
Oh yeah, look at, I see a hole. I see light in there.
I can't see very well. Maybe.
See the light? There, you can see it.
Oh yeah, there it is. Now remove light. Oh yeah. Well, dang. Well, anyway, that's good though. I mean, we see
So
that.
we gotta fill that.
So we're gonna fill it with Loctite. Well, you know, not let it pour into the motor, of course, but just fill the threads up, and we should be good from there.
Yep.
All right, so we're putting the red Loctite on the bolt. Get ready to put it in there. This will help seal it up like we were talking about, and then, yeah, we shouldn't have that oil leak coming out of there anyway. There it goes.
Spread that around real good.
Yeah. Just run it until it stops, or?
Yep. I'm gonna run her in tight.
There we go. And we'll back these off and do the other one.
It looks like it could go in deeper. I can try a little bit more.
You got the
What's that?
you want the wrench on there, or
Oh yeah, I gotta put the wrench on first. Duh.
using that kind of nut? I guess you gotta, you know. They make fancy stud installation tools, but two nuts locked
We don't
together.
have them.
Yeah, we don't have any. And two nuts locked together work just as good. As long as you don't like over tighten the two against each other and stretch threads or anything, but yeah.
I gotta get this over here a little ways. Is it going in all the way?
You can still kind of see the threads look buried. It's just that there's,
I think it's tight.
I can kind of touch a little bit of that one thread, but
It's tight.
it's deceiving because there's all this whole section that's missing. It kind of like,
Yeah,
yeah. So,
it's tight.
all right, well then let's move on to the other one then, I guess. All right, so now we're running the next bolt in. There we go. I'll wipe off the excess here, of course.
Yeah, it went in just about the same amount.
They do look about the same. I mean, yeah.
Yep.
I think I barely feel a thread on that one, and I can barely feel a thread on this one.
It's looking
And
good.
we don't have any excess pouring down into the push rod tubes there, so. All right, well, I guess we're ready to start getting ready to put the head gasket on and then the head. So on to preparing the head here, we took the studs out so we could clean up this stuff. They were kind of on the loose side. We're going to Loctite them in. We're just kind of like cleaning up the studs right now, but so we're preparing this head to get put on, and then after that we'll get ready to put it on, of course. Get the head gasket ready. We'll talk about that a little bit, and then we'll move on to putting these studs in here now. So here's the head gasket we've chose to go with. We're gonna go with the composite one with the flame rings. Just personal preference here. Because we're building a street motor. We're not really out to, build a high performance machine where we need to have like certain things and stuff. But
Race
this will,
machine.
yeah. So this is gonna be good enough for what we got for this bike going right now. But anyway, we got the studs put in and flipped over. We're getting ready to put we just Yeah, we ran them in with a couple nuts just like last time, and so anyways, now we're getting ready to set this up.
This top. Put it on dry. Gotta worry them over the threads. Okay, after you get that done, it's pretty simple. Just a minute here. Wish I could get that to bend down a little. There.
Make sure it sits flat.
Yeah, well, because it's got that necked part, I don't want it to set crooked.
Right.
Okay, there we go.
All right, we got that prepared. Now we get ready to put the push rods and head all together here in a group. Just talking about, we got this setting on here. There's an oil hole back here could get plugged.
Take an air gun.
Just make sure it's through.
If no air come out, well, then we'd have to deal with it. Because oil's got to drain down through there and into the timing cavity. And if it doesn't do that, it'll fill up into the head. And eventually it'll just go down here. But takes will flood. This is all about intake oil. This is exhaust oil out of the head.
Right.
So.
We're adding some lube to the tappets right now. Some assembly lube.
For the push rods, till oil gets there, it'll be a while.
Yeah, we don't want to be
Always
starving for oil before it gets there eventually.
It's always going to be a while. Okay, now I gotta see the other side. Could have did all this before I put the head gasket on, but that's okay. Put the light in the hole would be good.
Well, you're trying to get the bottle down in there too.
I can see,
Okay.
but I can't see in the dark. I got it everywhere but in where I needed it. Okay.
Alright, so with installing this head, we put the push rods in. We put the long ones in the middle and the short ones on the outside. Push them way up in there. You're not really engaging them, are
There
you?
we go. Okay, no, I don't want them engaged.
Right, that way you can get
I
them
want
set.
them up there as far as I can get them. These are going to be like they're going to be. That's not so bad. Okay.
Alright, within a group, you just take it over there and flip it on there.
Yep.
Right.
That's what you do. You hold your fingers on them. And you let them fall down up in there.
See how many attempts this takes.
Yeah.
Because you gotta watch the head bolt so don't damage stuff. And
Watch these. And you let them fall down in there. Okay.
there we are.
Okay.
Now we're gonna go from here. So right now,
Okay, I got that one.
got a long skinny screwdriver and the flashlight. And he's looking in there and engaging the push rod into the
right in. You can't see it, but it's through here. You'd have to see right down underneath in there. Yeah, there. It's up in there.
So we're lining them up right now.
Now I gotta look. I gotta get rid of this. I gotta get intimate with the floor. Now, way up above here is where the other one is. Now, just a minute here. And sometimes you gotta lift the head a little. There it is. There it is. It fell. Okay.
So when you got it, the whole thing dropped into position.
Yeah.
Kind of.
And this one is still in there. Okay. Okay, so we got this side. There it is.
You got it engaged already?
Yep, they're both engaged. Okay, so now we got all of them engaged. So now we got to put head bolts in.
All right. That's sweet. That wasn't too bad. So, all right, so onto the head bolts. So looking back at our torque settings sheet here, which had everything on it. In the last video we showed it.
I wish we had it.
We should have got this earlier. But anyways, it talks about cylinder head nuts and bolts. 3/8 inch ones, 30 foot-pounds. Cylinder head nuts, the 5/16 ones, are 20 foot-pounds of torque. So we're going to get ready to go do that. And then move on from there. Alright, so we got the front middle head bolt down in there. We got the tool on there right now, ready to torque it down. We got the outer 4 on.
Oh, we just got them.
They're just kind of like sitting here, started. So we're gonna working our way, getting them tight, going in a pattern from way loose to ready to torque, then using the same pattern to torque it. So like we said, these are 30 out here, and this was the 5/16 one, right?
Oh,
No, that's the 3/8 one also.
the 5/16
one.
are these two little ones.
The two little ones. Yeah, okay. It's all coming back to me. So in these two down here, there's 5/16. Those were 20. All right. So in this manual here, we got the torque pattern for the head. Of course, the center one, the one he's on right now, is number 1.
Now, I'm starting to feel it pull. So I'm going to stop right here because I put all the bolts in. And I want to verify that I got all the push rods still in.
Yeah, because we don't want to bend nothing or mess anything up.
No, you will bend the push rod if you don't. Way back over here. There it is. There, okay. Okay.
Good yet.
Okay, all right.
So we're just gonna start engaging these bolts down.
I'm just going to bring it down to where there's no gap in between here and the head gasket. I can see air.
I was feeling it with my finger right here, but
Okay, I'm down.
yep, we're down.
Okay, so now
So this was 1. 2 is this one hidden back up and behind here. Alright, so we got these ran down so they're just touching and snug. And there's no tightness on them yet. And then we're gonna Do the same to this one up here, and then the two in the front yet. And then we'll start working on the torquing
You
down.
gotta get the little ones underneath here.
Yeah, only on the ones the hidden ones underneath here yet. All right, so running these nuts in is pretty difficult because because they're complete stainless. So
They're not magnetic at all. I checked.
yeah, so we
So I
gotta,
put a little grease on it.
and it helps hold it to the socket, and you
I
can
get
able to go
past
down
the
there,
coil,
so it doesn't get dropped in there and get all lodged and stuff out of the way and messed up. So nice little trick to put them in there.
I can brake clean later.
Right, yeah. So that way when it gets hot and stuff, it doesn't like get all stinky from the grease burning and stuff.
Well, it'll go away. It'll melt off. I didn't put that much.
So once we get all these somewhat snug, we're gonna go through the
Okay,
torquing
they're all
sequence. Okay.
So now we're going to go through the sequence.
Okay. All right, so torquing down the head. This is number 1 right here. Torque that one down to 30 foot-pounds.
Okay.
And then number 2 is the hidden one underneath here. I'm gonna have a hard time getting it with the torque wrench, so 30 foot-pounds.
Okay.
All right, so then according to the chart here, it has number
3.
3 being this one in the front of the spark plug.
Okay.
Okay.
Number 4.
Number 4 is
Back one. The back rear.
Yeah, the back one behind the spark plug.
Okay.
Number 5 is this one here.
Back up. And then the front one over here.
Yeah, 6 in front of the plug.
Okay.
All right, so then 7 is the hidden bolt under here, or the nut actually. There's a hidden one underneath here. We
Now, where'd
talked
you
about
put-
that in the
Where'd you put the wrench?
earlier video, or can't forget these.
Where'd you put the wrench? I told you to snug it. And what's this one got to be? 30?
That's 3/8, right?
Yep.
Yeah, 30. And then the other side, the other one.
Okay.
All right, so then we move on to
The 2 little ones?
9 and 10 right here. Yep, the 2 in front
And
here.
those are like what, 25?
Yeah, they were 20,
20.
5/16 or 20. All right, so number 9 right there at 20 foot-pounds. And then the one next to it.
It needs to be longer.
All right, so then down to number 10 there. Here we go. They're all torqued.
All torqued.
All right, well, with these head bolts, of course we're gonna finish the bike up, get it running, and we do a heat cycle, and then we turn around and run back through them again. And like he was saying earlier, when we were talking about these head bolts, we're probably pretty much that's enough, and we probably won't get nothing out of them. But we gotta check anyway. So I'll see. Maybe that'll be coming up too. So, all right, so let's move on to finishing up the the head and all the other stuff, putting it all back together.
Check.
So after getting the head torqued down, we gotta check the valve clearances, make sure see if they changed any. And so far, a couple of them have. We're finishing up right now on these front ones here, I believe.
You see, it used to have a copper head gasket, and now it's got a composite.
So yeah, there's a difference in thickness.
thickness.
Yeah, right. So right now he's adjusting it to
8,000.
8,000 on the exhaust side, and what was intake?
6.
6 on intake. And I think he just had to change. I think we have to do them all. So yeah, we need to check them all for sure, and I might as well adjust them all
Loosened
too.
up too much already. It was tight.
With the valves being reset, we're ready to move on putting the covers on. We got the one on over there already, and then we're going to put the one on over here, and the one in the back. Well, I just dropped the note on the floor. Yeah, happens.
Did you put the cutouts in the...
Yeah, little grooves on the bottom. Help drain.
Yep.
Yeah, there was we made a little bit of... I suppose I should show you that. on the gasket, we made little spots to where the oil that splashes onto the inside cover of this, it'll pool up behind the gasket because the gasket's a little bit larger than the...
It makes them leak.
Yeah. So these little notches, we put them in there ourselves so it helped drain from getting inside here. It'll drain instead of pooling up and leaking past because it has nowhere to go. So yeah, so anyway, that's all that. He's gonna put that one on now.
This nut has an aluminum gasket or washer.
So aluminum washer.
Yep, aluminum washer.
We'll tighten these up, and then we'll be ready to move on from here. Let's look getting together. Well, we're installing the top head steady right now. It's motor mount stuff. So far we're just got it all up on here, and we're tightening the stuff up now. So here's like no real trick to this, just kind of goes like this, and just what we do is we pull it all the way back and we tighten it down. Then we tighten these nuts down to the rubber mounted piece right up here. And then that special grounded bolt that we talked about in the first video is down inside there. Whoops, there we go. Down inside there and hooked up. After this, we'll move on to probably putting the carbs on or something like that. So tighten this head steady down. We tighten these nuts up first, and then we tighten up that one to square it with the bracket here. And with that's all tightened up, now we're ready to torque it or tighten it to the head. So we're ready to do that next. Here we go. Yeah, then the center one. Have a hard time there?
Huh? It was just started.
Oh, okay. I thought it was.
You can't get your fingers down in there, let alone.
No way. There's enough room there for
Well, I
you.
was lucky to get it started. I'm gonna keep that wire straight if I can. Probably a torque on this too, but you got to get a torque wrench in there.
With an Allen. I mean, you could, but you can only get on with the ball driver, and probably really shouldn't torque stuff with the ball driver because it could snap off.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
Out here we probably could, but anyway, that's how that goes. Yeah, so I guess we'll move on to something else now. We got the oil line installed now, and then we also got the spark plug wires on both sides, and we route the main feed line through the center of the carbs. That we ended up putting the carbs on here, I think, next. But yeah, the main feed line goes between the two carbs, and then it Y's off on the other side. I'll show you. Stacks on here like that. The main feed comes in and then it loops around to the other side. So anyway, we got this all ready to go, and we're moving on to something else now, doing the carbs. Well, we're starting to install the carburetors. We got the one sitting here with the screws just kind of started right now. We got the main oil line routed between the two. It's kind of a it's kind of a pain in the butt to get going, but only because it's kind of like in the way.
It's normally where it is, though.
But that's where it runs through, and there's room for it.
We'll push this rubber down later.
Yeah, that'll give us room. Yeah, having the rubber up out of the way
Move your fingers.
gives it a little bit more room to work with.
Yeah.
We hold it out of the way.
Whatever. Put that Allen wrench in first out. There it is.
Yeah, hit it from you.
I'll run it in a little ways with the ball driver if I can get in there. Move your hand. Now we'll do about half a turn at a time. It's yippee fun. And after I get this one, I gotta do the same thing with the other one.
Alright, well, now we'll move on to get that finished up. We'll come over to the other side here. Alright, they're kind of like snug, but yet carburetors still move around. They're going to work on torquing them down to 8 foot-pounds. No more, no less, because you don't want them to be loose, of course, and you don't want them to be over-tightened. And seeing as how it's kind of hard to get on there with an actual torque wrench to get that, we got this special tool.
It comes with the toolkit.
With the toolkit that came with the bike. It's a Norton special.
All it is a wrench that's cut off, but it's only 3 inches long. So to be honest with you, it's really hard to get 8 foot-pounds. I mean, really hard. Now, I just slightly snug that. It may look like I tightened it a lot, but I didn't.
And then we move on to the outside one now.
Kind of do the same thing. Slightly snug it. Well, more than slight, but I like to finish tighten the inside ones first, because it used to be, the old Norton shop used to tell me that when I was there, that if you don't tighten the inside ones first, later the customer is going to bring the bike back and those screws are going to be gone.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it happens. I used to see it all the time. Okay, now I'm going to move on to this one a little.
Even people you rode with or whatever?
Yeah. It happens.
Yeah.
So, I'm not saying that these need to be tighter. I'm just saying that
Now these carbs were pre-set up from the last time we had it running, so we should be good on that part of it. So all we had to do is just install them again. It shouldn't run really any different than it did before, other than we're going to hear that noise, hopefully, in the bottom end. And we won't have a head gasket leaking, hopefully. So.
finish last little tightness here. And I've never bent or cracked an intake manifold in over 35 or 40 years of working on these things. Okay.
Alright, so let me just
I'm going to push this back down in here.
Do that, and
so it keeps the vibration from this. This is stainless, and the stainless will actually wear into that.
yeah,
And now we put this back on. Don't forget that.
yeah.
There we go.
All right, well then we'll probably jump ahead because in the last video you watched us. Well, we put all the cylinder stuff in the last video in this series, but the last time, a while back, we had worked on swapping out these carburetors on our previous videos. Swapping carburetors. You can look for that one where we take a Mikuni off and put these Amel Premiers on, which was kind of interesting. And it seemed to run all right. I always have better luck with the Amel carburetors, but it's a personal preference thing. If you like one or two or not or whatever. They originally came out with two, and I kind of like this bike looking like it should when it came out. It does perform really well with the two carburetors, and it probably would work well with one, but it's just kind of always what I wanted with it. So anyway, in that video we put the exhaust on and off and the tank and all that stuff, so we'll probably just jump ahead, and next time you see us we'll have the exhaust on and we'll have the tank on, and we'll be ready maybe to take this for a test ride. And then we'll get it through its first heat cycle, retorque the head, and then we'll probably be done with it. hopefully it all works out. So yeah, it'll be coming up here in a minute. We got the fuel feed lines hooked up right now. We installed the seat, air cleaner, and then we set the tank. What we do is we installed the seat where it's going to sit, and then first off we set the tank on here, and then we put it kind of wherever, and then we put the seat on and we tighten it down where it needs to sit. Then we find the gap right here, and then we adjust it by pulling the tank all the way back, just giving it enough room so it ain't touching, you know. And that's kind of how we set that. And now we're kind of tightening up the bolts. We got the front one on right here, and then we're installing the back strap on here. So about ready to tighten that down. So we got the 74 Norton here all put together finally, and everything's all hooked up, ready to go. But we had to put oil in the primary chain case here. So we fill it up here because we can get the spout and stuff in here easily. And then down here, it just starts to seep out. Or if you go by the book, it says 7 ounces or 200 cc's of fluid for the primary. So anyway, we're gonna do that right now. Then we're probably gonna get ready to start it and stuff. So
This is 200 ounces.
200 cc.
200 cc's. Yeah. I don't know why now I'm saying it.
Yeah.
Should start dripping out any minute now.
Let's see if I can see it down there.
Any second. Should start dripping. There it
There it
goes.
goes. Yep, there it goes. And we're out of fluid in the
Container.
container, and we just pop the plug in there.
So that way, if you ever pull it out again,
This has an O-ring on it too, so we gotta make sure that we checked it already. The O-ring was good, but you gotta make sure that you don't put it together with a bad O-ring. Same with these other plugs too, because they could dry out and crack real easy. Right. So let's see if we can get it running. Alright, so we're gonna fire this thing up the first time. Gonna turn the fuel on. Prime or tickle the carbs here. You just push it down, of course, just like the Triumph, and push it down until the gas just starts to come out on both sides. There we go. And turn the key on. You don't want to leave boiler ignitions on very long, or any sort of electronic ignition on very long. So, all right.
we got an oil light.
Get oil light. See if it fires up. So I just got back here on the bike, of course, you just saw, and I don't know, it runs good. It just, I think it needs to be We need to check the idle. I think it's off a little bit. And the timing, we need to just double check the timing. And then when it cools down completely, we'll be ready to do we'll be able to retorque the head there, because that'd be considered a heat cycle, heat up and then cool down. So let's see what happens here. So let's check out the timing and everything and go from there. All right, with the static timing, we were pretty close, right on, but we were off about 10 degrees, so we just loosened this up and went counterclockwise with this outer piece, and we're going to check it out again and see where we're at. So we're going to start it up. There we go, we got idle set pretty much, and we got the timing right at 30 degrees before top dead center set. I'm using a timing light over here. We used it, we revved it up to about 3 grand, and then we were able to check the timing on the mark there when it came around. It's looking good, it's running good, and I don't see no leaks yet. So I'm gonna take it for another ride quick, but anyway, I hope you enjoyed everything here, and we pretty much got it all done. So yeah, I'm pretty happy with this so far. I didn't hear the noise that we had before the banging. So whether it had been the lower end bearings, which we think it was, or that little bit of some touch in there that the swing arm was engaging with. So here we are, got the bike back in the shop. It's all cooled down, cool to the touch after riding it for a couple times there, and so it's considered a complete heat cycle. So it's all cooled down. We just got done trying to torque it. We didn't get nothing out of these head bolts. So these head bolts are awesome. We got them on most of our Nortons, all but the Mark III that we're going to be building from bottom up here coming up. We haven't got them for that yet, but they'll get a set too. But I like them. I'm not really reviewing it for anybody or anything, so it's kind of like whatever, but I would suggest them because they're really awesome and they work really good. But anyway, this pretty much wraps us up. So couldn't find the noise, didn't hear the noise after we got done riding it. So like I said a little bit ago, it could have been the bottom end. There's a chance it could have been the swing arm banging into the inner primary cover. I don't know for sure. But anyway, it's gone now. And this bike's ready to ride again all the time. So I really enjoy riding this bike. So happy it all kind of turned out. So hope you enjoyed everything. Anyway, see you again soon on some other projects we got going on, of course. And yeah, we got lots to do. We got the Trident to work on. We got that Norton Mark III we're working on. Working on the 40 flathead still, of course, and then a bunch of stuff. We got the 56 panhead we're working on. So anyway, we'll see you again soon. A lot going on. So hope you enjoyed everything.